Hi guys, and welcome to another video for, well, basically Year 9 Maths. This time, I'm MaffsGuru, otherwise known as Darren, or is it Darren, otherwise known as MaffsGuru? And it is really, really good to see you here. Thank you very much for dropping by. Now, if you are here on my website, thank you very much. There's so much here for you to do. If you're not and you're on YouTube or any other social media stream, hey, head over to maffsguru.com where you get these videos, downloadable notes, exam questions, time codes, and as time goes on, so much more. If you are on YouTube, if you can click and subscribe, I would be deeply, deeply grateful. Who watches maths videos? No one. I'm never going to be rich, and I'm certainly never going to be famous, but knowing that you're watching by clicking that little subscribe button makes all the difference to me. Now, what are we doing today? Learning objectives. We are recapping what the perimeter of a shape is, converting between metric units, and finding perimeters of simple shapes. Now, I know this seems very, very simple, but at this year level, things get funky pretty quickly. All right, and the great thing about maths is it builds on top of each other. So bit by bit, the maths gets a little bit harder. Yes, there is perimeter in year 7, in year 8, in year 9, in year 10. Does the actual theory change? No. Do the examples change? Isococo, things get a lot more complicated. So I'm going to recap some of the theory, and then we are going to basically show some of those more funky examples. All right, so perimeter, when I lived in the United Kingdom, that actually, funnily enough, was not very far from my house. In fact, I think my house is probably over there, long way away. No, I didn't take this photograph. But this fence here was a perimeter fence around Alconbury Airfield. So we used to have a lot of Royal Air Force fields, training camps and all sorts of stuff in and around our area, which made it very, very lovely. Thank you very much, and very, very safe. But there was a perimeter fence, and when I walk around Melbourne CBD, there is a perimeter wall going around the jail that's smack bang in the middle of the CBD. That's not at all worrying, really, is it? I feel perfectly safe. But a perimeter means around the edge, all right? So when we are looking at finding the perimeter of a shape, we quite literally sum the distances or the lengths around that shape. All right, now, of course, maths being maths, it's a trick, and Barry's been at it. So when I looked up online all these things about perimeter, what did I find? Oh yes, Isococo, I found that there are words otherwise called circumference. Oh, hold on a moment, that's coming in a later video. Outside, yes, an outside fence. I think I prefer perimeter. The outer edge, boundary, border, frontier, limits, bounds, confines, and so it goes on. And again, maths will trick you. For most shapes, we call it the perimeter. We might call it outside or around the edge, but for circles, we call it a circumference. So finding the perimeter, a basic example. Now, one of the things I've done here is, thank you very much, Cambridge, I have extracted little bits of their textbook and their examples to help us. And there is a conversion for units, right? Knowing this type of stuff is really important. And if you're in a country that allows you to have summary books, I know here in Australia, particularly in Victoria, we do, then, well, yes, I can actually cut that out and put it there in my summary book. And all of these notes are, again, downloadable from maffsguru.com. If you head over there, you can download the actual slides that I have currently got. How do we find the perimeter of the following shape? First thing you do is obviously check you got the shape. I always then check to make sure the units are the same, because if they're not the same, we're going to have to convert the units to make them the same, otherwise it's not going to make any sense. Now, perimeter, I tend to start and I walk around and around and around and around, and I draw on my shapes to make sure that I don't double count, and there's lots of ways of doing this. I know that these two little lines here mean that those two sides are the same dimension. So again, I'm going to write 18 meters on here and 12 meters on there, and I'm going to write perimeter is equal to, let's start here and go up, 12 plus 18 plus 12 plus 18. Now, again, I can try and do all this in my head. I don't. I tend to break problems down bit by bit. So 12 plus 18 I know is 30. 12 plus 18 is also 30, which gives me 60, and that's my final answer. Yes? Nope. Why? Because we must make sure we put our units in. Now again, lengths have just meters, centimeters, kilometers, or what have you, as I've given there, right? If you have areas, we have the floaty 2. If we have volume, we have the floaty 3. Now that's working out. Other people will be shouting at the screen going, yeah, there's an easier way of doing it for that particular shape. And again, I don't like to learn lots of different shortcuts. Surely it makes sense to learn one rule properly and just apply it. So I know that for a rectangle in this particular instance, or a quadrilateral, I can actually add those two sides together and then double it. I can multiply it by 2 because we know that half of the shape matches the other half of the shape. So I could also write perimeter was equal to 12 plus 18 and then times by 2. Yeah, and that gives me 30 times by 2. I don't know what's going on here with my board pen, so let's try that again. I've got 30 multiplied by 2, which again gives me 60 meters. Hurrah! Yeah. Now again, with this type of maths, and we are building up here in Victoria to our VCE, you have to show working out. You might think it's pointless, or I can just go straight to the answer. Awesome. In VCE, you are going to lose about 66% of your exam score. Why? Because you've got to show working out all the time. All right, what about another example? Well, the previous example was fairly easy, yes? Now we've got to find the perimeter of the shape. And you'll notice there are lengths missing. So we know that this length here must be 5 centimeters because that says 5 centimeters there. So that's 5 centimeters. What else do we have? So it's 5 centimeters. I don't know why my pen's not quite working. But what about this length here? How do we find that length there? Well, this is where we start looking at sort of opposite sides of shapes. I know that this length here is 6 centimeters. I know this length here is 5 centimeters. And I know that this length I'm pointing to now, and this length here I'm pointing to must add to make 6. So because I've already got 5, that has to be 1 centimeter. Whew, a lot of hard work for just that one. And what about this length here? Well, again, the total bottom length is 5 centimeters. I've got this top length here as 3 centimeters, so that must be 2 centimeters. Okay, so what do we do now? So we now know that my perimeter is equal to, start in the corner, let's go to all this extraneous working out, he said, rubbing out the 2 things he actually needs, 2 centimeters, 1 centimeter. So if I start in this bottom corner, I go 6, plus across is 3, plus 5, plus 2, plus 1, plus 5, and again, I'm not going to try and do it all in my head. 6 plus 3 I know is 9, 5 plus 2 is 7, 1 plus 5 is 6, add those two together, 9 plus 7 is 16, he says writing 17, plus 6, and then that gives me 16 and 22 centimeters, just 22 centimeters. Again, is this too much like hard work working out? Maybe, but at this moment in time, it's just important to me. Find the perimeter example. The previous shape was relatively easy. They can change quickly again. Is this any different? Well, we can find these missing shapes. We can find the missing lengths again. That's 3 centimeters. This here must be 3 centimeters. Let's rub that out. Can I find this length here? Yes, because I know that total length is 4. That there is 1. And so the difference between the two of them must be the same. That's 3 centimeters. Can I find this length here? Well, yes, because I know that I've got 3 centimeters and 3 centimeters, which gives me 6 centimeters. And so we therefore say that my perimeter now is equal to, let's start in the corner, 1 plus 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and I'm back to the beginning. Methodical. Maths is methodical. 1 plus 6 is 7, 4 plus 3 is 7, 3 plus 3 is 6. Add those together, gives me 7 plus 7 is 14. And that gives me the grand total of 20 centimeters. Again, we've had to do no conversion of units, but it's not bad that that's there for us as well. All right, now, how would we find the perimeter of that shape there? Well, actually, all of this is a trick, and there was an easier way of doing our previous questions. Yes, I know, I should have shown you that first, but I wanted to show you the one way that works. I'm going to draw a shape quite deliberately in a number of different lines because my pen doesn't allow me to rub out individual sections. So imagine that shape there. Now, imagine that all those individual little gaps are joined together. Imagine I told you that this was 6 centimeters and this length here was 10 centimeters, and I wanted to find you the perimeter. I wanted to find the perimeter of that shape, but I gave you no other information. How on earth would we do it? Well, believe it or not, it's a massive trick. Go back to what I said previously. This length here that I'm highlighting, and this length here that I'm colouring in, and that length there that I'm colouring in, what do they all add to? And you're going to say, don't know, I haven't got the measurements. But you have. Imagine I move that coloured in line all the way out. I'm just pushing it out. And I take the line I'm just rubbing out now and push that out. Push it out. What do I now notice about the length of all of those 3 lines together? Well, believe it or not, it's the same as 6 centimeters. I'm just pushing those lengths out. What about the one I'm putting a circle around now? Well, let's take that and move it up. And what about if I take this line here and move it up? Well, lo and behold, I now have that length there as 10 centimeters. So by just thinking a little bit laterally, pushing those lengths out for quadrilaterals, then lo and behold, actually, all I needed to give you was this length here, say 10 centimeters, that length there, 6 centimeters, and I can find my perimeter. So does that mean I can go back and do this shape in a different way? I should go, because this here is a rectangle. So I can actually take this length here and push it out and add it to there. That will give me 3 centimeters and 3 centimeters. And I could take this length here and push it out, and that will give me, well, what did we say this length was? That was also 3 centimeters, which means I've got a length here of 3 centimeters. And so actually didn't need to know that, because I know that this dimension is 4, this dimension is 6. So if I did my perimeter as 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 6, I get 10 plus 10, or 20 centimeters. Same thing. Now again, there is no preference here. It doesn't matter which way you do it. It just actually shows you there are a number of ways of doing this question. All right, so now what about if we throw algebra into this stuff? Again, depending on where you are on your algebra journey, it shouldn't make any difference. Just do formula, substitute, solve. If there's a formula, so in this situation, I know that all of these lengths are now given the letter x. So I can now say the perimeter is equal to x plus x plus x plus x. And again, we can break this up. I know that x plus x is 2x. I know x plus x is 2x. And 2x's plus another 2x's gives me 4x. So there's my perimeter, just by using it. There's no number, don't worry about it. Algebra doesn't always have to have numbers in it. That's going to be my answer. Now, because they haven't given me any units, I tend to be a little bit, annoying and make sure that you write the word units as well. Just so you tell the examiner you know what you're talking about. Find a missing square length side length when given the perimeter. Now, we have to be able to do stuff backwards. And in this situation, what if I told you the perimeter of this shape was equal to 20 meters? Can we now find the value of x? Can we find that missing value? Well, absolutely we can. Because if we write the idea of what our perimeter is, so we know that our perimeter is equal to, start at a corner here, I'm going to go backwards, which is 5, plus up, which is 4, plus across, which is x, plus, hold on a moment, I don't know what that length is. Oh, yes you do, because we know it is equal to whatever's got that double line on, so that's 5. Now, at the moment, we've got 2 unknowns in this equation, right? So using some algebra idea, we've got a p and we've got an x, so I can't solve it. Oh, but hold on a moment, they told me the perimeter. So I now know that that's 20. I know that 4 plus 5 is 14, because 5 plus 5 is 10 plus 4 is 14, plus x. And now when we read that, it's saying 14 plus a number is 20. So x in this situation would have to be 6. And don't forget the meters. Right, so you have to be able to do things forwards as well as backwards. What about finding perimeters of other common shapes? Well, as I said, circles, 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 and circles are really important. And we've done this previously in year 8. We need to remember that to find the circumference of a circle, we really need to know the radius. They can give us the diameter, which we work out the radius from. But the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times the value of the radius. And again, depending on what the question wants you to do, you'll either use pi on your calculator, or 3.14, or 3.142, or 2217, or 3. Read the question. If we can use our calculator, that's freaking awesome. And believe it or not, guys, that is the end of this particular lesson. All it was a recap of perimeter and lengths. Yeah? So, I'm done. Thank you very much. If you haven't already done so, can you click over on my to subscribe on my YouTube channel and just let me know you're watching. Yeah, there are lots of videos coming from all year levels. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Give me a shout out on TikTok. Let your friends know. But otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you in another video. Take care, guys. See you again.